convention in
problems that have
Finland.
occurred in Africa, in Nigeria. I don't have to go through them. You have lived them. In terms of internal conflict and violence, of misrule and dictatorship, of corruption, of political misbehavior, even of the current government. But the problems, unfortunately, there was great hope when the dictatorship ended. But if one looks at Africa and looks at Nigeria today, one sees it getting worse, not better. And that is wrong. And that is a threat to you all. It's a threat to your families back in Nigeria, and it's a threat to everyone who lives in Biafra. I think that it's important here, it's vital that these opportunities not be lost. An area that I care especially about is religious liberty. Groups active in Nigeria, where at times the government and government security forces have seemed as willing to attack the citizens of Nigeria as to protect them from those terrorist threats. So this, I think, is an important issue to bring forward. It's also important to address the Trump administration when it's trying to think about future friends in Africa. That Biafra would be a friend of America. And you are certainly making that case. And you need to ask those you know in America to make that case in America as well. Because again, Donald Trump is, shall we say, a very unique person. And I thought one of the brilliant steps that Donald Trump took was a willingness to meet with the leader of North Korea that no other U.S. president had ever done. So that is something that you can appeal to him on, that perhaps he could meet with the leader of Biafra. That he recognizes the importance of reaching out to people who his predecessors refused to have anything to do with. Donald Trump, maybe there is an opportunity. And I also think those around him, many of those who are coming in, share that willingness to challenge the status quo. And that is what you saw liberty, about economic opportunity, all of which are fundamental for human people everywhere on earth. And despite problems in my country, and as all of you recognize, all countries have some problems, and I accept with my own as well, the United States has done generally pretty good at trying to protect those opportunities and those liberties, which is why we've drawn people from Nigeria to America. But you shouldn't have to leave your country to have those opportunities. To me, that is the great tragedy that we see in Nigeria today, and for Biafrans, is the belief that to be fully protected.
Breaking news. Commander Rose banned Nnamdi Kanu's wife, Uchechi Kanu, from entering into Biafra land. Commander Rose, the Biafran Liberation Army commander, in a recent press release, has come hard on Uchechi Kanu, the wife of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, accusing her of betraying her husband. He gave the order in anger, saying that from henceforth, that Uchechi Kanu is hereby banned from entering into Biafra land until further notice, saying that anywhere she is seen in Biafra, that only God knows what will become her fate. Although it is recently coming to public notice that Uchechi Kanu was part of those that sold her husband Nnamdi Kanu to the Nigerian government. According to Commander Rose, Uchechi was the woman that sold Nnamdi Kanu to the Nigerian government, reports Simon Ekpa to the Finnish government and also accused her of having good times with all the enemies of Nnamdi Kanu, including those that brought the private jet that renditioned Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. He also stated that it is time to start sanitizing the land of Biafra organically from the grassroots. Rose went further, saying that they kept quiet all these days because of the respect that they have for Nnamdi Kanu, but for now that she reported Simon Ekpa to the Finnish authority that her banning is a collective order from the Biafran Defense Force headquarters, which include all commanders.
Merry Christmas, Biafra evangelists. Thank you for having me this morning. What is happening? Update about Biafra land. Biafra Army said it declared the wife of Nnamdi Kanu and Dr. Ebode, the chief of staff of Samuel Ekpa, wanted it. They closed their leg in Biafra land. What is happening with Biafra?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are watching us from. I remember my humble self, Evangelist Benjamin Johnson Ezesnachi, the only Biafran evangelist that speak the truth and ready to end by it because I love speaking the truth when the need is needful. Now, what is happening in the Biafran land? Mazen Nnamdi Kanu wife being declared wanted by the Biafrans, Biafran army. Well, I believe it could be as a result of her disappointment, her failure, her unspeakable acts, and her attitude. Despite the fact that her husband has been detained for a very long time now, unlawfully and uncalled for. Yet, instead of for her to speak and to stand and fight for the freedom of her husband, she was busy criticizing those who are paying dearly for the freedom of her husband. Even going as far as messing herself up, not keeping the dignity of her husband. I believe that she don't deserve to be the mother. She's not qualified to be the mother of the Biafran land, of the Biafran citizens. Because Mazen Nnamdi Kanu remains our leader. He remains our boss. And Orabeze, as for COS, I believe there are many differences that in her own case should be based on some individual difference and misunderstanding between them. For I managed to listen to her, and she was making a point. She made a point, because one thing I believe, and which I dropped a message on their platform, and I said, if truly and actually that we are pursuing this thing called Biafra, and we really have interest and love for this thing, there shouldn't be any need of fraction. Because maybe as a woman she has come up, or she came up with an idea that is not conducive for the financial minister, the minister of finance of the USB. Then based on how the man has said that he has money, he does this, he does that, he, the financial minister, shouldn't in the first place come out, because I heard him laying a curse to someone. It's uncalled for. He doesn't need that. You understand me? He doesn't need that. If actually that he is not interested on the money aspect of this thing, if truly he have the interest of the Biafra and he love Biafra, you understand me? Leave how much is there to compare